Hello, this is Riley Smith with Make Good Creative Network. Today I want to talk to you about how to build a reputation as a creator. Another way to put this is, how do you build trust in your audience, in people who you want to take part in your work, who you want to collaborate with? How do you convince people, make people think you know what you're doing? Okay, so the things we talk about today are going to be very helpful if you're looking to grow your network, if you want to know more arty people and do arty things with them, if you are looking to sell anything creative. These are the things that I did that meant that when I sold my novel, when I released my first book, it was my first book, it was my first novel, but people already knew me as a comedy writer, they knew me as a writer, a creative person, and they trusted me enough to give me their money and buy the book. This will also help with imposter syndrome. If you are feeling like you're not a real creator, you're not a real artist, whatever it is, we all go through it. This will help you feel like you are part of a community, you are part of movements, you are learning and making things, and you'll not only start convincing other people that you are a creator and that you are making things that are cool, but you will also start convincing yourself more. So a couple of really good benefits there. Like I said, these are the things that I did and that I've seen other people do in order to build reputation, so that when you finally are in your big comedy show, when you do get a role in that play, when you do make your movie, when you write your book, people already know of you as a creative, talented person, and they want to participate, they want to come see the things you're making, they want to read them, they want to give you money potentially. So I put them in the order of most helpful, like most immediately helpful, to kind of more down the line. So I really suggest starting with the first things that I recommend and then kind of working through the list. And if you do, not only is it going to build your reputation as a creator, help you with imposter syndrome, it's also going to help you if you feel just stuck, if you don't know where you want to go next with your creativity. These things can help. So the very first thing that I am going to recommend, if you have not already done so, or you haven't done it in a while, is to take a class. There's of course the obvious benefit of you're going to learn things about the thing that you love to do, but there's an additional benefit that I've actually found even more helpful. Classes are the best possible place for meeting other creators. You know that they are passionate and interested in the thing you are interested in. You automatically share that interest, and adding them to your network will help you improve your street cred, I guess, as an artist. I feel very dweeby putting it like that, but it'll help improve the way that people perceive you in terms of your art. Basically, people judge you based on your peers. So if you are trying to be a stand-up comedian, you take a stand-up class, you will meet other stand-ups, people will know you as a stand-up comedian. Plus, if you've been in classes with people before, former classmates will often stay connected, continuing to inspire each other and collaborate. Especially if you take the initiative to make friends with other adults in your class. I have a video called How to Make Creative Friends. If that is where you want to start, if you want to start by just being around creators more, check that out. But just for right now, to make friends with the other people in your class, get everybody on a group text, or a group email thread works okay too. Even if people are like, no, I don't want, just fucking get them, be social, get them on there, make sure they know there will be a benefit, get everyone's email, make sure everyone else has it. A lot of times people are more responsive on email, which is weird to me. I don't know if that's they're just watching it because they're on that grind set mindset or whatever, but a lot of times people are more responsive on email. So if you don't feel like asking for everybody's phone number, giving your phone number out to everybody, just do an email chain. Use the email chain, encourage people to share things that they're doing, ask questions, and most importantly with that email chain, insist on before or after class bonding, depending on exactly when the class occurs. Coffee works really good before, or if it's an early thing, let's go grab coffee, let's go grab a lunch. My dog is coming in. He's upset. I didn't even completely close the door. I sort of closed the door and he's mad about it. So he's gonna come see us now. Hi, Baba. Hello, my love. It's like, how dare you, mother? How dare you shut the door? So he's gonna be crying in here the rest of the video, as he always is if you've seen any of my other videos. If your class is a little later in the day, I definitely recommend like going to a bar if everybody in your class is, of age, of course. Out of that bigger group, figure out who you like really connect with, figure out, who are your favorite people or the people who seem to be working on things that you're really interested in. And ask them one-on-one to go get a coffee outside of the larger group meetups. This is how I make most of my friends. It's great. I love hanging out with comedians or writers or people who are doing cool things in LA, cool arty things. So this is how I make basically all of my new friends that I don't meet by just glomming on to my boyfriend's friend group. Continue to reach out to people even after your class is technically over. This might take a couple of tries. It might take a little while to actually get people to go, but it can be really rewarding and really expand your network in a fulfilling, helpful, supportive way. If your class is virtual, then organize a virtual meetup. Do Zoom drinks. It might feel a little awkward, but do it. Hang out with people, or just like get that email thread going and sharing that way online. Try to take an in-person class if your goal is like networking, meeting people, getting your reputation up, but an online class works really well too if that's what's feasible for you. Just make sure that you try to connect with people outside of class, become Facebook friends, etc. My next recommendation is to join a meetup group. I really, really love this app, Meetup. It's pretty much how I kind of stayed sane when I first moved to LA. I didn't know anybody, and this really helped me. I found a writing group. That writing group supported me and helped me finish my first novel. It's really awesome. So whatever it is that you do, there's probably a meetup group for it near you, either in your city or close by, or a virtual one. Even if there's not a meetup group in your town or nearby you, in your interest, there will be one online, and you can join one online. I've done online writing meetups before that have been super helpful and helped me stay focused and finish projects. Most groups are free, which is cool. Some ask you for a couple of bucks because it costs the organizer money to keep the group going. But for the most part, they're free or very, very inexpensive. Pretty cool. Just search by whatever it is you're interested in. If it's writing, if it's filmmaking, etc. Search by the thing that you like to do, and you can either find groups that get together and do the thing or just get together and talk about the thing. Both of these can be helpful if your goal is to build your own reputation as someone who makes stuff. Participate in a Facebook group. I know you're probably like, okay, boomer. Facebook is an annoying cesspool most of the time, but I'm in a couple of very carefully selected Facebook groups. And this has really helped me connect with people, feel more creative, avoid imposter syndrome. Everybody's kind of going through similar boats. It can help you make stuff, stay on task, feel creative, and just get yourself out there as a creator. You can find groups just by searching whatever your interest is. Some groups meet in person. If you have a particular interest, you're really interested in horror novels, you can probably search horror novels in your city and find a group that's interested in that or similar things. I'm in a group like that in Los Angeles. We have a similar kind of Venn diagram of interests. Occasionally, we get together to talk about books or just get together to hang out. And it's a cool extension to my network. Some of my favorite Facebook groups, if you're wondering where to start or how do you even find a non-toxic place on Facebook? My number one is the My Creative Break community. Just search My Creative Break. This is a company run by two wonderful ladies, Kim and Linda, and they help people take creative breaks. They help people go on creative trips or just do creative networking nights or just take some time for yourself. They have a whole bunch of resources and fun events. So just check them out. They're a great place to start kind of meeting other people, being a part of festivals. Sometimes they put on festivals or they participate in festivals. A lot of virtual opportunities to meet cool people. So check them out. And they have a Facebook group where you can share stuff that you're doing. So check them out. If you are female identifying, non-binary, or genderqueer, there is a group called Binders Helping Newbie Writers. There's a lot of different Facebook groups that are like Binders of Writers or Binders of da-da-da. If you're a new writer and you want advice or you're looking for work, then Binders Helping Newbie Writers is a great place to start. There's also a whole lot of groups under the Let's Make Art header. I'm in the Let's Make Art watercolor group. And I don't even do it. I don't even like make the watercolor, but it's just like fun to see people. But if you are an artist, if you draw, if you paint, whatever, the Let's Make Art groups are a great place to learn more, collaborate with other people, show off what you've been doing. Really great place to start. And then there's also one that doubles as a meetup group. It's called Artistic Women Inspiring Artistic Women. Great place to share what you're up to. I love seeing updates from this group. The ladies in it are just working on such cool stuff. So find a group that works for you, that feels like it matches your vibe. Just search your interests in your area. Check out the Facebook group. You should be able to tell pretty quick about whether it's like a yucky place to be, but there are a lot of really supportive, fun places as well. So now that we've met some people, we've now added some other creators to our network, it's time to start making some stuff. But here's the thing, the way that we build trust as humans, we do it incrementally. I think about usually, you're not gonna let someone that you just met drive your car. You might like let them come to your house under supervision. Or you might like go get a coffee with them. These like little things where we kind of like test people out. You might like let them borrow a book, before you let them borrow a vehicle. So I think of like somebody committing to sit down and reading a whole novel is kind of like the commitment of, coming and watching your house for a weekend, or of you borrowing their car. You really have to have a lot of trust built up, that somebody trusts that you are going to entertain them for that amount of time. They have to like you and they have to trust you as a creator. So I don't recommend just starting with a novel and expecting that people are gonna buy it and be interested in what you're doing. That's just not how human relationships work. You just don't dive into, let's get married, You start with some smaller dates, probably. So start with smaller projects and build trust over time. Build trust incrementally. This is also great because it improves your skills as a creator, as well as builds trust and builds an audience. Here are some examples of ways that you can start to build trust. Like, what do I mean by smaller projects? Like, before you publish your novel, write some short stories that you share on a blog, or do some episodic stories on Kindle Vella. That's a cool thing that I've been thinking about recently. I've seen some people do. So you can start to build some trust there. Write short works first. Or, before you write and produce your full-length comedy feature film, write and produce 3 to 5 minute comedy sketches for YouTube. If people are used to seeing your stuff on YouTube, you've been sharing it around, when you get around to saying like, oh, I'm making a movie, they're gonna be like, cool, because they've seen your sketches, they know that you're funny. If you're just like, oh, I'm making a movie, it's gonna be harder to get them to buy into spending an hour and a half or however long watching your stuff. Before you release your first EP, make sure that you take time to perform live at local open mics, or post a song or two and share that on social media, or live shows are the best. Live shows are the best way as a musician to build an audience. That's just what I've noticed. You're just not really gonna get the engagement online because there's just, like a lot of things, there's a ton of content. But if you really wanna like build committed fans, going to open mics, networking with other musicians, and trying to get into live shows. Try to do, open for somebody, trying to do these smaller things, like, at least going to some open mics, talking to people, getting your name out there that way. Really good way to start before you just like sit down and make your whole album. It is hard to convince people to listen to an entire album if they do not already trust you. So start by doing a song or two in public venues, and then sharing that on social media. Before you publish your book of poetry and ask people to commit to reading a book of poetry, which a lot of people don't read poetry, so it's kind of a big ask, Submit your individual poems to literary magazines, try to get it out that way, get it out online, or just share them straight out on social media. A lot of people do this, a lot of poets do this, and then people read a short poem on Instagram. They're like, oh, that really resonated with me, I'm gonna follow this person, and then they're kind of interested in your journey, and then when you do publish that poetry book, they're like, oh shit, I really like what this person has posted on Instagram, I'm gonna buy that. So start with smaller projects, releasing smaller projects to build trust with your audience so that they will be ready to commit to the larger project once you have it done. The next thing to do after you've started kind of putting yourself out there, doing the things we talked about already. I know that's the scariest part, to put some work out there. But the next part is very fun. We're going to find people to collaborate with, people to do things with. You might think that your work is a solitary endeavor. A lot of what I do as a writer is very solitary. I'm also an introvert and have some control issues with the stuff that I work on. So it can be hard, I understand, to go and collaborate with people, but this is definitely 100% the best way to improve your reputation as a creator. If you work with other people, you multiply each other's network, you multiply each other's audience. You'll see YouTubers do this all the time. They make videos with other YouTubers in similar genres so that they share each other's audience, and they'll do a video like on one channel and on the other. It's really helpful. Another thing is, like, if you're a comedy writer like me, I'm gonna work on a video or a show with other people. I'm going to do performances with other people. Even if you're like a novelist, there are ways to collaborate with other people. You could work on a smaller project with somebody, maybe a series of short stories built around the same theme. Or you could ask people to help you, like bring people in, editing or offering advice on whatever stage of your novel writing process you're in. There's always a way to bring other people into your process, and if you are considered to be helpful, reliable, you're a helpful teammate, you help them with their projects, they help you back, that you take their suggestions. It's going to build your audience, it's going to build your network, it's going to multiply opportunities no matter what you're trying to do. So make sure you find ways to collaborate. Here's how you do it. You can use the things we already talked about to find opportunities to collaborate. So ask former classmates, what projects are you working on? What are you interested in doing in the future? It can be casual, like you're just at coffee and you're like, what kind of things are you hoping to work on in the future? Maybe you guys will brainstorm. Maybe you'll help each other come up with ideas. Maybe you'll end up working together on a project. You can also just reach out and be like, hey, I'm looking to do something like this. I'm looking for people who can do XYZ. Would you be interested? Connect with former classmates. The other thing to do is to just shout out like what you'd like to do, kinds of projects you'd like to get involved with, either on Meetup or just in social media groups, just on social media in general. Like, hey, I'm really looking to join a sketch group. Does anybody know anyone who's auditioning for openings, etc.? Or I can play the guitar and I'm looking to join a band. Anybody interested? This type of thing, why it's a little throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. It can really, putting yourself out there like that can help you find a group that really helps you grow. Make sure that when you are doing that kind of thing, though, that's kind of just like on the interwebs, make sure that you mention your strengths as well as what you'd like to learn. So if you are a guitarist looking for a band, you can be like, I'm really familiar with heavy metal guitar riffs, but I am looking to learn more about bluesy or ballad type songs. I'm looking to practice, make sure you're clear about like what you're looking for, whatever that might be. You can also join local artistic organizations who are also doing cool things like already. Like, don't feel like you have to invent everything, If you're a comedian looking to collaborate, join a local improv troupe. Like, if you are an actor or a director, like get involved in community theater, things like that. There's probably somebody in your community or nonprofits who might need your skills. Like, there's somebody in your community who is already doing the thing or needs someone who can do what you do. Like, if you are an artist, there's probably a nonprofit in your area who needs your artistic skills. So look for those in your community that you can get out, collaborate with people, help people with your talents, and that'll help you stay inspired and start building a reputation as a creator. If you are reaching out to people and asking them to work on a project with you, don't be shy. People are gonna be flattered. even if they can't do it right now, they will be glad that you asked them. They will be like, oh, me, all right? So don't be shy, reach out, tell them what the thing is. Even if they can't participate right now, it'll still leave like a good taste in their mouth about you. They'll have good memories of you, like trying to collaborate with them. They'll think about you in the future. The next one is really fun, but can be kind of a bit of work. It's building a virtual audience and connecting with them. You can use Twitch or YouTube or even like Instagram Live or something like this. Whatever platform you like that lets you like stream live, that lets you talk to people live. I like Twitch. I do games and various things, mostly crosswords because I'm a fucking dweeb and I love it. But I do stuff on Twitch. And I really love that audience. I don't have this massive following. I have 78 followers right now, which I'm super grateful for. But it's a really cool community. I've met people from all over the world. I've met poets, comedians, various creators, people who make crosswords and do a bunch of other stuff. It's really cool. If as a streamer you set up a cool vibe, you will meet cool people, and it's helped me sell books. Even if the Twitch audience itself is not that massive, it has helped me sell books because people know me on there. They hang out. They know that I'm funny and friendly. They think, that I'm creative, and they hear me talk about stuff that I'm doing. They're interested, so they go buy my books. They buy books for themselves, for their friends. So I've gotten quite a few sales from building that audience off of Twitch. I understand if you don't want to do this one, if you're like, I don't want to get involved in Twitch or YouTube Live, like that sounds like it takes too much work. You do have to be consistent. It does require consistency, and being persistent and like getting a pretty decent setup. I think it is hugely rewarding, so I super recommend it, but I also understand if maybe you want to skip this step for now, because you're not sure that you can commit to streaming regularly. If you are interested in this step, I have a video about making it to affiliate on Twitch, which basically means you have 50 followers. That's a good sign that you have a good, like smallish, but good community formed. So check that video out if you're interested. Another really effective way to build a reputation as a creator is to offer your experience and insights on YouTube or a blog. You're seeing an example right now. I also have a blog. I recommend if you're only going to do one of them, do YouTube. To give you an example, like one of my blog articles will get like 70, maybe 100 hits organically. I don't really pay for advertising right now. 70, maybe 100 hits organically. And that's a really well-performing one. Some of them, if I'm not picking a very good topic, if I pick something and people aren't that interested in searching it, it'll be more like 14 hits. Meanwhile, if you look at this YouTube channel, one of my videos has like 18,000 views. Like that's the number one video that I have, but like that's, such a bigger reach. And that one's about comedy, so obviously it's improving my reputation as a comedian. My comedy videos seem to perform best on this channel. I guess I just seem funny looking on the thumbnail. People trust me to have something funny to say, which is great. Building that comedy cred, y'all. But yeah, if you've done all the other things that I've talked about, you have something to share. If you've done all the things that I've talked about previously on this list, you have insight, you have advice, pay it forward. Help the people who are trying to get to where you're at. And you can do that by a YouTube channel or a blog. I really like Squarespace for blogs. Squarespace is kind of expensive, so if you're not gonna commit, like don't do that. Pick something else that like has a decent look to it. But Squarespace is pretty easy to use if you don't mind paying $200 some a year. I kind of mind it. I kind of was like, I wish it wasn't so expensive, but it is. I've tried several different kind of blog builders, and I think this one combines ease and the ability to like keep track of an audience list, like collect emails if you want to update people with like a newsletter, and like just makes a website that looks pretty good. So I think Squarespace is like one of the best, but it also costs money, so that's up to you. Just a little thought there. If you're not sure what you could possibly share on a blog or a vlog, The general thing is just share what you've learned and your experience, but some things that have worked really well on our channel or on my blog, how you got started as a creator. People love story time. People love hearing other stories and figuring out how that can help their story. Another good topic is like, what surprised you the most the first time you blank? Or like, what did you screw up the first time that you like, I have a video that's, I can't, the actual name, what I screwed up about self-publishing, I think, or and I have like, well, I fucked up so you don't have to, or something like that. That went really well. People really appreciated that. People ask me like to send them that video all the time because they're considering self-publishing. So, because I did mess up quite a few things and it made the process harder than it needed to be. But that video works really well in that topic. So if you have like, if you have created your EP, or if you have gone to a comedy school, or like what is a myth about this thing, or what did you mess up, or what surprised you, about whatever projects that you have completed. The other thing is just how-to videos. Most of the videos on this channel are how-to videos of various kinds. Something that, here's a couple ideas, maybe how to properly clean paintbrushes. That's an important thing. How to arrange the perfect writing desk, if you have some insight on that, on how to, we have videos about like productivity, etc. How to project your voice on stage. Anything you know how to do, share it. Anything that you have learned, share it. It will help others and build your reputation as somebody who knows what they're talking about in this field. The other thing that is really popular are reviews or commentary style videos. So like if you're a writer, do book reviews. The most popular video on this channel is definitely the like 5 books that show you how to be funny. So it's kind of a how-to and book review mix, but I take my favorite 5 books on comedy that I think really set me up for success as a comedy writer, and I share about those. People like those kinds of things. Commentary style videos are also popular. So if you are a filmmaker, one very fun way to kind of build your reputation as a filmmaker, as someone who knows what they're doing, is to watch other people's stuff and provide commentary. It's especially fun to watch very bad things and provide commentary, but that's up to you. So just some ideas. Share your expertise on the blog or vlog. People looking for knowledge will come. Everybody will get more creative and knowledgeable altogether, and they will also be more interested in your work. They will also be interested in you as a writer. People who came and asked me like, oh, what, you have this self-publishing video that's so cool. Can I see it? I'm interested. I answer a couple of questions about their interest in self-publishing, and then almost inevitably they buy my book. And people who watch my YouTube channel end up also navigating to my other things, my personal comedy channel, or my Twitch stream, etc. So it all kind of feeds in on each other. But the how-to channel, the blog or vlog, the sharing your creative experience and journey, really helpful for building your reputation as a creator. Okay, the last one can be the most scary, but it is, dare I say, the most important, although I do recommend you do literally all the other things I have mentioned before you do this one. Now it's time to actually get your work out there, in person, in front of people, whatever it is. So if you are an artist, ask to put your work up at a local coffee shop or store, or in your library, or some type of public area in your community, with a small label with the title of the work, your name, your contact info, like your Instagram to follow or something. Get your art out into the community somehow so that people can see it, interact with it, be in the same space with it. If you are an artist, you can also paint or sketch live in public places. I know that might sound terrifying, but people really like seeing the process. So going in, this doesn't mean they have to sit and like sell $5 caricatures or whatever, but if you are sitting and painting in the park, people will be interested in what you're doing. So that's a way to talk to people, tell them what you're up to, get them to join in your audience, build your reputation. If you are a poet or a writer, hold public readings. local bookstores, your library, things like that will help you with this. If you have done the previous things in this step, it'll be easier to get someone to agree to let you hold a public reading. If you're not able to connect with a bookstore, etc., you can rent out a small space and host the reading yourself. Like, make it happen. Get out in front of people and do it. I know that sounds effing terrifying, but it is the best way to get people interested and build your audience. If you are a musician or a comedian, you gotta go do some open mics. Go do it. You gotta do it. You gotta get in front of people. I have a video for comedians about how to not fail your first open mic. So if you have not done an open mic before, or if you have done one and it went really, really badly, you can check out that video. If you are a comedy writer or an improviser or something else, produce a sketch comedy show with your work with some collaborators. Get some other people involved. This also works if you're a musician. Put a live show on of some length, even if it's just a half an hour. Maybe start with a half an hour. Put a live show on in front of people now. You've done all the other things I mentioned. It's time. Put your stuff in front of people. This step is the most important. I do recommend doing it last after all the other things, but this step is the most important because if you don't actually put stuff you made in front of people, nothing else that you do really matters. People need to see what you make, and that will ultimately build trust in that you are a creator. So make sure you get it out there. The biggest proof, both to yourself and others, that you can create is to do it and then show it off. Make sure you take time to show it off. Start with those small things, get some collaborations going, build audiences in the other ways we talked about, and then take your work and put it out into the world any way that you can. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We do a ton of helpful content on this channel all the time. Make sure that you like the video so you can return to it, because there's kind of a lot of steps here. So make sure that you like it so you can come back. If you have any ideas about how to build a reputation, build audience, build trust, please slap those into the comments below. We would all love to hear your insight. And most importantly, let's go make stuff.